Hey everyone, welcome back to another Life and Drawing podcast. This is podcast episode 43, and sorry about that pop up. I've had to install Norton on my Mac, and I'm constantly getting these. Do you want to allow this program? Do you want to allow this software? Do you want to allow? And so it's that bittersweet ebb and flow of security and having to deal with constant, hey, is this good? Is this good? And so anyway, I just hope it's doing what it's supposed to do. Um, I I'm not fully confident in. I'm confident in Mac because I don't think I've ever had like a virus since I've started using the Mac Mac products, and so yeah, because I think I started out on PC. I think I had HP. Had a very old HP. Um, and then we got a newer HP, and both of them were like crash after a while. And even like the newer one, it was like brand new. And I think within the first year, it had major work that needed to be done. And so, yeah, I've just never been I just said never been. I was like, you know what? I want to try something new. And it was so foreign, making the decision to, go to Mac. I just felt like, man, all the shortcuts I was so familiar with my PC. Um, uh, you know, I was like, oh man, I have to relearn everything, and so and to some degree that was the case, but yeah, but everything, change. You have to make a decision, and you need to stick with it. Particularly if it's not detrimental. It's one thing if you make a decision, it's like, oh snap, that was not a great decision. And since I've been saying decision repeatedly, that's the topic for this podcast. Um, uh, Poor decisions. How do we avoid repeating poor decisions? Um, Now, granted, there are certain what's the word I'm looking for? There are certain behavioral decisions we make and we repeat, and I know I have a few, so that's why I'm prefacing it that way. That I know for me, I would love to be just completely done away with. I would just like to not, in a sense, be trapped repeating those same decisions, and so there are some decisions that may be our, what's that saying, Achilles heel. And oh, I didn't start the timer. I don't think I'm always, see, again, this I don't even know why that maybe my because I'm hotspotting with my um, mobile phone on my laptop, so I think that's what. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, decisions. So sometimes, we have to just try to purpose to resolve to break out of those repeated uh, decisions that we know that we struggle with, and so um, but aside from those struggles, I would put uh, how to re-recognize a bad decision. You know, um, something that's shady or questionable. And from experience, I I always I always feel like I felt that I don't know, that instinct of this is not going to turn out well. And I think if we get that or if we have that response, then I think that's a clear indication that yeah, we probably just shouldn't be we shouldn't be here, or we definitely shouldn't be doing whatever we're doing. It's it's not going to turn out well, um, and but we don't always listen to what our minds is trying to reveal to us, and and oftentimes we are forced to learn via our um, our mistakes. And so, and if we learn from those mistakes, then it is indeed a teachable lesson. Uh, and hopefully it's not a severe life altering lesson. Um, so to give an example of how to recognize a bad decision, if you know that there have been reports of let's say death for using a rope swing over into a river. It's like there's shallow rocks or it's a steep cliff. We've had folks who've tried it, and some folks have suffered severe injury. Some have died. Like, please do not use the rope swing. Please do not put in a new rope swing when the old rope swing has been removed. Yeah, that's a bad decision, because it's shady, and it's questionable. Now, it may be thrilling and exciting, right, to think about it, to think about doing something like that. But then that, man, if something goes wrong, it's gonna be bad. And once we have that thought, once that thought creeps in, then you wanna respond to that. You know what I mean? That's your indication right there that, yeah, yeah, this is not a good decision. 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 So, uh, I don't know how many times you would need to repeat it to yourself, um, so it registers and it sinks in. Um, but but do it. um, yeah, because once we pass that threshold, many times there's no going back. Um, we uh, we have to deal with the consequences. You know, um, and so we so yeah so recognize it. You sense it's shady or it's questionable, then it's probably not the best decision to be made. And it may not even be a bad decision. It may just be at that time that's not the best thing. Let's say a train trestle. You're like, oh man, it'd be cool to go on, and it's like, you know what? This is probably not the best time to do it. Because if a train comes right now, we're screwed. So, um, trust your. I say this tongue in cheek, but trust your spidey sense. Trust that voice in your head that's like, probably not. And if someone calls you a wuss or a sissy, at least you'll be a a well-bodied wuss and sissy. You'll be a healthy wuss and sissy, and not a maimed or dearly departed brave heart. So, what am I trying to do here? I saw farm barn. I was driving, and I was like, oh yeah, that'll be real cool to draw. But I am struggling with the proportions because this is off. Like this would be a horrible. This would be a horrible construction. This door is all the way to the side. I don't know how. I'm just seeing that. Maybe it was a unique design, but that's pretty horrible. So I don't typically do this. I just kind of roll with it, but that's bad. And so I'm just going to do something else. And it's just, I sort of have in my head an angle or whatever, but I'm just gonna do something. It's not gonna be quite that, but it'll be different. But yeah, so recognize. How do you recognize a bad decision? Shady, questionable. You're having second thoughts. Something's in your mind saying, not the best. Listen to it. Listen to it. And the second thing, what makes a poor decision bad? Well, it can result in you hurting yourself, or you hurting others, and of course the regret that ensues afterwards. And sometimes the hurt is not always physical, and the bad decision is not always something that is physical. It could just be, you know, say you're in your workplace and someone starts gossiping about another fellow employee, co-worker, and you decide to jump in along with what's being discussed, when you know that, man, you know what, I should just leave that alone. It's not for me. It's not for me to say or to comment on. So I'm just not going to even entertain that, because it's not going to lead to anything well intentioned. Now, if you recognize that, but you continue with the gossip, now you've put yourself in that position of, oh, what do I do now? Because I've engaged, and if it ever comes back to that individual, I'm gonna look like the bad guy. I'm gonna be lumped in with the other person who is gossiping about that individual, right? And and then you have to come to a very honest point in reflection, like, man, how would I feel if I found out that someone was talking about me? More than likely, I would not appreciate it either, and I will most likely feel a certain kind of way. And so, and I think that helps too when it's a relational decision making thing. How would we feel if we were the recipient, or we were the topic of discussion? How would that make us feel? And once we can do that, then I believe that helps eliminate the disconnect. So now we're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, this is not just about me or a certain individual. We're all in this together, so to speak. And so, yeah. But if we succumb and if we give in, then we either hurt ourselves in the long run, because as a result of us hurting someone else, then it's a poor reflection on us, and then we have to deal with that hurt as well, and the need to resolve that hurt, and then of course the regret of participating in that decision that inevitably is going to hurt someone else. And so So yeah, so that's key to be careful that we don't fall into those those traps. Um, and third thing, and how do we avoid repeating poor decisions? Um, how do we break the cycle? Now this is tough, um, and because like I said in the beginning, there are certain uh, just struggles that I know are just poor decisions, um, but I still continue to struggle with, like we all do. We all have something that it's like, you know, why do I keep repeating this? Why do I keep getting angry when I'm on the road? Um, I'm like, I'm trying not to be this angry, person, but dang, it's hard to do um, when you have just seemingly clueless folks driving on the street. We all make mistakes while we drive. But you guys know, you come across someone that just seems to be completely oblivious that there are other people on the road. Um, and you can probably deduct just from my comments that that is something I struggle with. One of many things, just having to deal with being on the road with folks that, like I said, just seemingly are clueless to what's going on. Um, but yeah, how do we break the cycle, man? And that may be a lifelong journey, um, but not an impossibility. I don't even think that's a word, impossibility, but not an impossible task, I believe, to achieve. It just may take many steps of failing and victory and failing and victory. I think what's crucial is recognizing, okay, what's the trigger point? What is the trigger that's causing me to repeat this bad decision? And let's go to, okay, gossiping. So if it's like, oh, I don't want to be caught up with gossiping about against my workplace or against a particular coworker, or it's like so what's the trigger? Is it happening during lunch hours? And if so, okay, how can I change that? Well, perhaps I could eat lunch elsewhere, and if that's an impossibility, I just don't engage. If I'm asked a question, I'm I'm very sort of like nonchalant, or not dismissive, but just very unengaged, mute, in the sense of, oh, okay, just all right, I guess, you feel that way, and all right, and so there's creative ways to get around not having to engage with anything that's questionable, or that's going to be the trigger for you to fall back into that bad decision making process. And then the more we do that, the more we build up that muscle of, oh yeah, you know what, I don't need to do that. It's oh yeah, that's, one, it's not really as enticing as it was before, and yeah, I don't need to do it. It's just like anything, say like working out. It may be tough in the beginning. Your body's like, you know, but the more you stick with it, the more it becomes a routine, just something that you normally do, and so yeah, I just my opinion again, as far as breaking that cycle, it goes back to the very first point. If you recognize that this is going to be a poor decision, um, um, let's even say like dating. You're like, oh, you know what? I don't know. This just seems sketchy. Um, then yeah, just don't go on that date. You know, or if you're struggling with, I'm constantly just hooking up with these folks I go on dates with. Then set up the parameter where it's like, okay, you know what? I just feel like I'm just gonna give in again. Um, Let me just do a group date, and now you've switched the dynamic. We're moving on a slightly adjusted plane, and um, and that should help break up the the systematic steps that would lead us to continue making those bad decisions. And and like I said, man, it's gonna be a journey. Sometimes we may fail, and we may have victory, and and then other times not so much, and it's like you know, but that's part of the life as well. But I think once we purpose to fight, oh, there we go, to fight against making. I'm telling you, man, that is so annoying. um, Fight against those decision-making steps. Then we set ourselves up to succeed more than to fail. And so, and that's important. So helping break that step is part of recognizing the error in our ways, and how we need to change and correct course, so to speak. And the more we do that, man, we get stronger and stronger and stronger, and our resistance just grows and grows from that. And so yeah, guys, thanks so much for listening into this podcast, episode 43. How do we avoid repeating poor decisions basically how do we avoid just making poor decisions. And I think once you've made a poor decision, you know, you know, every poor decision I was fully aware of. I was not in any way surprised or bewildered by it. I was like, yep, that was just stupid of me. I'll give you an example. I was in the car, and yeah, were we married? Yeah, because we had that car. Yeah, we were married, and so it's in the car with my wife, and we're working at this place, and yeah, and I just thought it would be cool to try to beat the what do you get, the motorized gate, so I have a clicker, and it's two big wooden gates, and so the gate is in its open position, and I'm at a resting spot, so I'm just idling, so I'm not approaching the gate, and that was my added bad judgment. So I was like, oh, you know what, I've done this before, and from a starting point, I think maybe 10 yards away from the gate. So I clicked the button, went to punch to go through the gate to beat it, close, as I'm exiting. Yeah, totally misjudgment. Clipped one of the side mirrors of the car. And in that moment, I was just like, you idiot. Yeah, it was just not good. And I think $80 later or $90 with shipping and all that stuff. It was just like, was it worth it? No, not in the least. And so, so yeah, so I know a thing or two for just making poor decisions, and like I said, we know right away that was pretty dumb, and so yeah, man. So let's minimize those dumb decisions. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening and supporting. Be sure to hit that like button. Should be support. Jeez, my goodness. Be sure to. I'm trying to say. In my mind, support is in my mind, and I'm trying to say sure, so I'm like Shapur. But thank you for your support, and be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get those subscriber count up. I think we're at 5. Let's see if we can get to 10. I don't know why I said that so loud. It's like 2 a.m. And one of my boys who don't sleep well, it's quite a light sleeper, so I don't know what I was thinking. So like and subscribe. Be sure to check out my Instagram as well. It's Instagram at Michelo Lully. Go to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michelo Comics. You can also go to my website, that's michelolully.com, and to support what I do, you can go to Patreon, which is patreon.com/Michelo Lully. And so appreciate all the support there as well. And so yeah, guys, thank you so much again for tuning in, and let's move forward in this new year by minimizing poor decisions. I've already made several poor decisions, repeated poor decisions that I'm just so tired of, relapsing. And so, but hey, that is, in fact, part of the journey, and that we have. And so let's journey together with that, and perhaps we will conquer those poor decision tendencies, right? We can do it. So we just have the purpose to do it. And I think if we purpose to do it, we can certainly achieve it. So thanks so much for watching. Again, appreciate all your support. Hope you guys have a great afternoon, evening, morning, or night. Grace and peace.